Good morning. Day 21. So yesterday, I was having a little bit of trouble with, I guess we'll call it anxiety about some of the climbing and some of the rocks. Like, it was difficult, it was hard to reach a foothold and things like that. And it felt hard to navigate with my pack on and with my poles. And so I was a little out of sorts yesterday, and I came to a spot where I had to go down, but I couldn't see how to go down. And I consider this an instance of trail magic right when I was considering possibly lowering my pack with a line and then climbing without the pack down. Two men came along and they had no problem, and there were footholds, they just weren't visible. But because I got to watch those two do it, I knew where to put my feet. So that was really cool. And later I caught up with them at the shelter, and I thanked them and told them about that. And the one guy said to me, "Well, I hate to tell you this, you probably need water." And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I gotta warn you, on the way down to the spring, there's," and I'm thinking, oh no, thinking it's gonna be like treacherous rock or something. And he went on to say, a big black rat snake, as big as his wrist and 6 feet long, and said it had hissed at him. And I said, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll keep my eyes open." But it's funny because I'm not afraid of a black rat snake in the least. I enjoy seeing them, but it just again was reminding me that, like, everybody has their fears, and I wish I didn't have mine. I guess maybe the rocks ahead are going to hopefully cure me of them. But yeah, we all have our little things, our challenges, individual challenges. Last night I went to bed in the shelter alone, and I don't know what time it was. I was sound asleep. I was sound asleep, and it was after dark, and I got woken up by somebody, jumping up into the shelter with the white light on, and talking. And it was someone who had through hiked in 2019. His name was Trail Mix, and he was just out running around finding hikers and offering them food. So he said he had I don't know, he named 3 different things and said, did I want some? And I said, oh, okay, sure, thank you. And he said, do you want one of each? And I said, oh, no, just one of something. And he ended up giving me one of these complete cookies. And then he was off. You know, he didn't have stuff to camp or whatever. And there he was. And what to me was the middle of the night running around out there in the trail. And so I went back to sleep. And then sometime later, someone else was in the shelter, but with a red light. And they said, hello? And it was a hiker from Georgia, a through hiker from Georgia, Hot Moose. And he said, I'm sorry for the late arrival. And I said, oh, that's fine, don't worry about it, you know. So he slept there too, and then we talked a little this morning. Can kind of see the view through the trees. I made it to Peter's Mountain Shelter. I hear the privy is overflowing. I'm hoping I can find a tent site here. I think I would just like a night alone, but we'll see. Day 22. Left high and a ridge to the right. So I pulled over for a pit stop and came, you know, gracefully through the underbrush to get somewhere where I could go to the bathroom unobserved. And a stick poked me in the calf, and then when I was checking it out, I realized that this part of the stick was still inside me. So like, I mean, not like a splinter, like way bigger than a splinter. So I pulled it out. I used some Dr. Bronner soap on it and my precious water. I poured over my leg. It's still bleeding, but you know, that doesn't seem like the worst thing, because if it's bleeding, then hopefully it's rinsing out bacteria or whatever. After it stops, maybe I'll hit it with a little bit of alcohol. So hopefully that won't turn into some festering thing. Nice hike so far. well, I missed getting him on camera, but heard a snake slithering. He had been out here on the rock sunning himself, and he just crawled behind this one. I think it was a black snake, thankfully. I thought it was a little too cold for a snake, but I guess that sun makes a difference. Sitting here filtering water. This is one of those unfortunate times when I realize I'm gonna be dry camping tonight, and I have to now fill up with a lot of water so that I have enough water to get to camp for all my needs overnight, and then enough water for the next morning to get me to the next source. So this second half of the day is going to be the heavy water carry portion of the day, but you know, it is what it is. When just before I got here, I ran into Titanium. He's this really cool guy. He's 71 years old. Third 71-year-old hiker I've met out here. I met Retread, Recalc, and now Titanium. All 71 years old. They can all hike, you know, circles and cartwheels around me. He's titanium because from his knee to his ankle is a titanium rod in his leg. So anyway, I showed him the wound on my leg. So when we got down to the water source, I washed all the blood off of it. I got some more Dr. Bronner's, washed it with soap. And then when it dried, he was so kind, he painted my leg with a bottle of new skin that he carries. It like stings a little, and then so it's antiseptic, and then it you know, covers the wound, and he said it's better than a Band-Aid because it stays on. So that was very kind of him to patch me up. This is much harder with the weight of extra water and the sun. A rock bridge over a little bit of water. I think this is why they said not to drink this water. That is steep. The end of the day is so hard, but I can do it. This little dip here, that's the way it came from. This is the view. There's a lot of rocks going down the side of the mountain. And that's the way I'm going. And I don't know, you're not gonna be able to see much, but that's a bunch of rocks up the top of the mountain. Okay, this is not what I was expecting to see. Okay, my apologies. That was not Titanium who patched me up. That was slow going. And thank you. Get close up of the doggy. That's a good doggy.